Good morning, everyone. We've got here Chad McCush, who is the incident commander in the Channelview Fire Department. He's been leading the response here to this incident. Brett Conway with the Office of Emergency Management, Richard Lawhorn, Harris County Hazmat, Michael Walker, the Chief Warrant Officer with the U.S. Coast Guard, Anish Patel with the EPA. We also have EPA contractors. We have Elnora Sano Portez with TCEQ, and we have representatives from the company BWC. So today is another example of the degree of cooperation between the agencies here in Harris County, and also the incidents that we face because of where we are. You know, there is the economic powerhouse that we are because of industry, and also there are incidents like this one. I want to make something clear. The incident is still ongoing, but it has been ameliorated significantly. As far as individuals impacted, there were 2 transports. They've already been released, and there were 44 other individuals that were checked, were not transported. So around 1:40 this morning, BWC and Channelview had a sulfuric acid release when a walkway, fell and ruptured a pipeline. So we're talking about tanks. Folks know those big tanks. They have a tank farm, and one of the walkways collapsed, and it hit the pipeline. So then the sulfuric acid started leaking, and it started also, another valve failed. It started going into the ship channel. That impacted there were 2 ships docked there, and thankfully the folks that were on there are fine. The Coast Guard will speak to what they've decided to do in terms of traffic in that part of the port, but the ship channel is still open. It's just that part of the ship channel that is currently seeing impacts. As far as the amount, so the leak is, these tanks are measured in barrels, so 52 barrels are in that tank. As far as gallons, somewhere around 1 million gallons that have been released, and that's just how much there is in this tank. So, you know, what are the concerns for the public? First, any impact to the air that people are breathing. As soon as we could, pollution control, Harris County Pollution Control was out here doing air monitoring. There was 1 high reading, and it was an error. Other than that, the readings have been fine, and we think it's because the community is relatively far from here, and the sulfuric acid has been hitting and since the morning, the fog, and dissipating that way. It's a bigger problem when it's still in the liquid form. The other piece is the air monitoring right here around the area, and so the experts here have drawn a perimeter to make sure that first responders and those in the neighboring companies are safe. That's still ongoing, and Chief Lawhorn will speak more to that. In terms of the environmental impacts, and so this is really what the broader impacts could be in this situation. Because this leak is going into the ship channel, that means that the sulfuric acid is diluting with the water. There are no recreational areas around here, so that's good news, right? We don't have people that are being affected by that water. And the question is, will we see aquatic life affected? Right now, what I'm hearing from folks, and correct me if I'm wrong, there are no sightings of dead fish, for example, which is something we would see. So we're gonna keep looking, and right now it's not possible to go in, and because it's simply not safe yet. The incident's not over yet, but it has ameliorated, as I said, significantly. We have investigators here already from the Harris County Fire Marshal's office, and Pollution Control as well will be sending investigators to evaluate once this is over exactly what happened and if there's any action to be taken. The Coast Guard, the EPA are already here getting ready for any kind of mitigation, amelioration after the fact. The company, of course, has been very communicative, very collaborative from the beginning, which we appreciate, and we'll continue to collaborate with them. They've been doing their own air monitoring with a contractor, and of course we as government like to do it as well, just, for obvious reasons. So let me just finish by thanking everybody who's here. They continue to work. I know this is scary for folks when you hear such a big number of gallons, and folks in the community will say, you know, but have you looked at us? What's happening to us? How is the air we're breathing doing? And so I just want to assure folks in the community that we have measured and we will continue to measure the quality of the air where you are. Thankfully, there has not been an impact. In fact, the impact in this area is limited. We have the perimeter set, and this is an incident that, of course, will be looked at, and what we'll be watching for are possible impacts to the aquatic life. But we're all on the same page here. I'm very proud of the fact that we're seeing federal, state, and local leaders, both county and just at the very, very local level, working together. So let me pass it on to Chief or the incident commander here, Chad McCush, so he can give us an overview, and then we'll go from there.
Chad McCush, the District Chief of Channelview Fire Department. We got the call around 2:10 for an explosion. Crews came here, investigated, met with the owners of the facility, realized it wasn't an explosion. I think it was the gangway falling on the pipe. They noticed the plume. You know, crews kept their distance. Our initial concern, obviously, was safety of the people inside the facility, getting a staging area out of the incident until we could assess. We called Hazmat immediately for their expertise. They arrived, set up air monitoring. Our main concern as the fire department, we activated set track. We started getting reports of a couple ship vessels in the channel that had a lot of occupants. They were advised to shelter in place at first, but then they decided that they would evacuate. So we activated set track, set up a medical staging area. We evaluated 44 people. We transported 2 from a neighboring facility. And like the judge said, everybody's been released. I want the citizens to know, as the chief representing our community right now, that there's a lot of questions about that, you know, how come we weren't evacuated? That was highly considered. We did extensive monitoring, and we decided as a unified command that it wasn't necessary. So I just want people of Lakeside and Days of Allah, Market Street area to know that we did our testing and everything was clear, and that's why we made that decision. Any questions?
We'll take questions at the end.
Oh, okay, very good.
Go ahead.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Major Blenderman over the Harris County Sheriff's Office Patrol Bureau, and we received a call around 2:30 of also an explosion. Turned out to be a chemical leak, and we had units responding. We still have units out in the area, and right now the only traffic impact is going to be right here at Sheldon and Jacinaport, and also going into the facility on Peninsula Street. At that time, that's the only traffic that's been involved. That's all I have.
Okay, great. Let's pass it on to Chief Lawhorn here with our Harris County Fire Marshal's Office.
Hi, Richard Lawhorn, Harris County Fire Marshal's Office, Hazmat team. We received the call about 2:40 this morning to assist Channelview with a Hazmat response. We were able to arrive on scene pretty quick, and basically with the equipment and the software that we had, we were able to take the chemical and start pluming it based on wind speed and direction. From that point, we started looking at what our readings were. That software allows us basically to get in there and go to areas of the most concern first. And so we did that, and we continued to monitor. Right now, the only area that we have closed off is on Jacinaport, just south of Carpenter's Bayou. And that's basically a very small amount of product that we're concerned that we don't want people to get exposed to. Thank you.
Chief Warrant Officer Walker with the Coast Guard.
Yes, good morning. So we received a report very similar at the time, about 2:30 in the morning, very similar situation. And then we realized that there was waterway impact because there was a reaction between the sulfuric acid and the water that created the plume. Our responders responded on scene about 4 a.m. And then from there, we started to coordinate with the Unified Command, determined that there was 2 vessels that were evacuated, several facilities that were evacuated. And then from there, the captain of the port made a determination to restrict vessel traffic just within that piers. So we're talking about San Jacinto Port International and Energy Transfer Facility that's just north of that. So that's where the status of the port right now, but the Houston Ship Channel remains open.
Okay. All right, and so I just want to clarify or further emphasize the unified effort between all of these agencies that will continue to take place, and the other folks are here to give details in terms of if you guys have any questions. And we'll call the company up as well for their remarks, but first I'm being asked to just repeat briefly in Spanish, so let me just do that very briefly. Estamos aquí con colegas del Departamento de Incendios de Channelview. Chad McCush, él ha estado manejando este incidente. También el Chief Warrant Officer, Michael Walker, él está trabajando aquí. La Guardia Costera, está aquí TCQ, la Organización de Manejo del el Medio Ambiente Estatal. El EPA, la agencia federal que trabaja en la protección del medio ambiente. Y también las agencias locales, la oficina de bomberos, la oficina del alguacil y mi oficina también, la oficina de emergencia. ¿Por qué? Porque esta mañana hubo temprano esta mañana, el ácido sulfúrico salió de una de las compañías. Aquí un tanque, como hemos visto en el pasado, tienen estos tanques de ácido sulfúrico. Hubo un accidente, un puente que conecta 2 tanques se cayó y cayó sobre una válvula. Entonces, con esa válvula destruida empezó a salir el material y afectó no solo el área de la compañía, sino también falló otra válvula y empezó a salir el producto hacia el agua. Entonces, los problemas, bueno, lo bueno es que no hemos visto impactos a los residentes. Hemos estado monitoreando el aire desde la mañana. La compañía tiene una compañía de monitoreo del aire, pero nosotros también con el condado estamos haciendo nuestro propio monitoreo para confirmar, no tener conflictos de interés. La información está en readyharris.org y no hemos visto ninguna medida en el área de Channelview. La comunidad está relativamente lejos de aquí para este material que es el ácido sulfúrico. Especialmente porque se convierte, como ha habido esta mañana, temperaturas húmedas, eso se ha evaporado más que nada. El problema es el líquido, ese líquido que está cayendo. Son alrededor de 20,000 barriles de ácido sulfúrico. Eso es más o menos una piscina olímpica, 1 millón de galones. Suena pues bastante cantidad y lo es. Habían 2 barcos atracados en el área del canal donde salió este material. Entonces hubieron individuos ahí que hubo que evaluar, 44 individuos que evaluaron, 2 individuos al hospital ya les han dado de alta, no hubo impacto a ellos tampoco. Pero bueno, ¿qué sucede con el medio ambiente? Entonces aún está continuando este incidente, no podemos todavía entrar y evaluar, pero en cuanto termine, la Guardia Costera y también la Agencia de Protección Ambiental Federal y local irán a ver impactos al medio ambiente. Los impactos serían marinos. En este momento no se ve, no sé, reportes de peces muertos o vida marina que se ve impactada, pero ya veremos. Es ese pH muy bajo, ácido, que se disuelve con el agua. El puerto o todo esto continúa abierto, solamente hemos cerrado un área específica. Y bueno, quiero simplemente hacer énfasis a la coordinación entre todos nosotros, todas estas agencias, que sepan que para la comunidad estamos evaluando, seguiremos evaluando, esa es la prioridad. Los impactos son aquí localizados en el área de industria y también, bueno, obviamente con el medio ambiente. El último punto, hay investigadores aquí de nuestra oficina de bomberos y también de manejo de contaminación que van a estar investigando ya cuando acabe el incidente a ver qué sucedió y si se puede, si hay que tomar cualquier tipo de acción. All right, so I'll leave it there in Spanish, and then let me call a representative from BWC, which is the company.
Hi, I'm Courtney Joyner, the VP of HR and Communications.
Sorry, it was Courtney. Could you get closer?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Hi, I'm Courtney Joyner. I'm the VP of HR and Communications for BWC Terminals. As discussed, the spill has been localized and remediation is underway. All BWC employees are accounted for and safe. And BWC officials are working diligently with the local authorities, the federal government, Coast Guard and so forth to remediate and mitigate the impacts to the community and to the environment. And we would like to thank all of the authorities who've been here to help us in this process and to help mitigate.
Do you have any questions? Could you talk real quick, Ms. Courtney, about the evacuation procedures and that sort of thing when something like this does happen within one of these facilities?
Have you guys had anything like this happen before on that same note?
No, we have not had anything happen. We have not had anything happen of this nature in the past. We work with the local authorities to determine the evacuation area and processes.
And how would you say it went today, I guess?
Oh, very well, very well. The communication with the authorities was diligent, and they did a significant amount of testing in making that determination.
Are all 44, in addition to the 2 who were taken to the hospital, work for BWC?
No, they were, we took them off as a precautionary measure and evaluated them. They were on the vessel across the slip from us.
So no one from your company,
No,
outside of it happening there, was injured or impacted?
correct.
Gotcha. So there was no one inside at the time?
Our operators
We had
were-
operators on site, but nobody was, they were able to leave the premises without anybody being hurt or anything.
They were upwind and were able to begin our emergency notification protocols. And again, our focus is, primary objective is people, protect people and the environment. So that was our focus. And then, in suit with that, working and collaborating, as Judge mentioned, with federal, state, and local officials.
Let me let the chief answer just a little bit more of that question, and then we can go back to you guys.
So more to answer your question, our initial 5 patients came from Energy Transfer, which was downwind from the leak. Out of those 5, 2 were transported, and the other 3 were refusals. The other, I guess it'd be 38, my math's correct. There was 2 ships, 2 vessels, and each vessel had 19 crew members, and they all got evaluated, and they all refused. They just got a checkup, and then they were released on scene.
So it's just precautionary.
Precautionary. Well, they did have some signs, maybe their throat, or but we evaluated everybody from both ships, and but we only transported the 2 from the neighboring company.
Could y'all be able to walk us through exactly what may have led up to this catwalk collapsing?
So
And
right
it's still
now,
under investigation.
yeah, it's still under investigation. We have to get it remediated, cleaned up, and then we'll do our investigation.
We can assume that you guys are closed for the rest of the day and the weekend, or how long will people not be here?
And just remember to approach the mask when you
Sorry.
Yeah, at this time we're closed until further notice. So an exact time will be determined as we understand the incident.
Did you guys have holiday hours? I mean, I'm sure that kind of helped with...
No, we operate 24/7
Oh, 24/7.
at this location.
So nobody will be working at the facility as of today for
Our
for now.
emergency response will be there.
Judge, you talked about a very large amount, 1 million gallons released. Is that all sulfuric acid that's been released?
Let me make sure that others answer the question. And this is measured in barrels, so 52 barrels. I thought, we can say 52 barrels doesn't sound like that much, but I think it's important for folks to understand the extent because these are large containers. So that's why I'm saying this is the extent. And then let's look at the impact. And I want to be very transparent with the community into that. My understanding is 98% pure sulfuric acid. But I'll let you guys if there's anything else, and that's used for various chemical processes. So maybe you can add a little bit about what exactly you guys do in the plant and the sulfuric acid.
Sure.
Yeah.
We are a storage facility, so we don't produce any material, but we work for various, as mentioned, refiners to store and transport their product via various transportation modes, tank, vessel, truck, and rail car. And answer
Talk about
your question. Yep.
remediation efforts.
Sure.
How much longer do you think you guys are going to be out here and these roads are going to be closed off to the public?
So as of today, as mentioned, it's been localized to the site, which is, again, primary focus, people, environment. It's been localized to the site. We will work with EPA. We've got EPA and TCEQ on site to make those assessments, and then that will dictate the level of remediation and the duration of remediation.
So no threat to the community right now?
Not at this time.
Now, I know if somebody's listening in, they hear
Yep.
52 barrels, 98% pure sulfuric acid, it's going to be alarming because people don't understand what that means.
Yeah.
So if you can break down exactly how hazardous this material is it something that you breathe and it causes a reaction, or is it something it's touched, like from the water, even if it's diluted, does it cause any kind of burns? Like, these are the things that people are going to want to know. Would you be
Sure.
able to sort of explain to us what it is?
Absolutely. So when notified, it is a hazardous substance, and that's why our primary focus when notified was we contacted a contractor company that specializes in toxicology and air quality. And so that was one of our initial phone calls for response to dispatch to site. We immediately conducted some air quality monitoring in surrounding communities, and that's data that we will share with federal officials. And all of that data came back with no signs of any sort of toxic atmosphere. And so we used that to then narrow the scale so that we could set up emergency response, again, in collaboration with Harris County. So we set up emergency operations center, as you can see, just down the street, and then perform continuous monitoring from there. Again, no sort of hazardous atmosphere was observed in that time from their instruments.
Just to clarify, and this will be the last answer we provide, is the only traffic that is being contained is any traffic coming into the area, so it shouldn't affect the general public unless you're trying to get into the area. And then let Chief Lawhorn, is longtime experts with our hazmat team, just also answer your question the way it was explained to me. Go ahead, and then we'll close out.
So just real quick, and I want to tell you, normally when we respond to these locations, there are different strengths of acids all along the ship channel, different strengths of products, different types of products, stuff like that. So this, what they explained to us is a spent sulfuric acid. So it's going to give off some H2S, and there's some other things that are going to happen while it's going through a reaction. The product, as it was released, was hitting water and going through an exothermic reaction. So actually it was breaking down as it's hitting water, going through its reaction. So you're going to get water vapor off there, you're going to get some SO2, you're going to get some other products coming off of there. And so that's why it was critical for us to get in there and monitor as quick as we did.
But so we're not sort of hair on fire about the 1 million gallons because of the way it's diluted.
No,
Yeah.
no. If there were neighborhoods directly on the backside of that facility, it would be a lot of cause for concern. But and don't get me wrong, the workers that work in those industrial facilities are very important. But it's not like it's hitting a large bulk of people living in neighborhoods directly behind it.
So that water isn't drifting into, I don't know, other waterways?
The water's flowing off, and the sulfuric acid is real heavy, so that's part of the concern with the ship channel, and that's part of what they're still dealing with as far as the what's left of the product hitting the ship channel.
Do you guys have it barricaded?
Well, that's what and let me just say that's what some of the other agencies are here for.
So I can answer that real fast. So given this product, it's soluble in water. It's going to readily mix into the water column. So there's nothing you can particularly boom off is one mitigation technique, but that's not going to be ineffective here. So basically what you're seeing why we saw a plume was because the exothermic reaction when sulfuric acid hit water and it started to vaporize that water around it. It's going to continue to do that as long as product drips into the water. But outside of that, the mitigation really comes in when they're going to decide what they're going to do inside that tank berm, whether or not they're just going to dig it up. I would have to, defer to the responsible party and what that would look like necessarily. But there's a lot of techniques they can do outside that. But once it's in the water, unfortunately, what you're seeing is what the reaction is.
Just going to wait for it to vaporize, essentially?
Unfortunately, yes, that's it.
Okay.
All right, thank you all. We'll make sure that we send out updates online. If we have another one of these persons, we'll let you all know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.